Was there? Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
He's so unprepared.
There's video.
I'm prepared for that.
Whereas Bryn just rolls out of bed ready. He's experienced now.
I just look good 24/7.
That's the only way to roll is Bryn.
Yeah, that's it. So how's it going? You just got up, just had brekkie, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, just got up, breakfast and starting the day. We're about to get into strapping and that and head out for a bit of a training session from 10 till 12.
Yeah, it's a couple-hour training session, but it's pretty good. It's going to be helmets only, so you can still run around. You just don't take the hits because obviously we've got a game tomorrow. Can't risk any pulling up too sore, any injuries, so it should be a nice training session.
So talk us through the last game. What happened?
Oh,
yeah.
Well, we started out really close. At the start of the game, it was 0-0. And we kind of got the jump put on us, and it just didn't really click into gear. I don't know if the moment got to a few people, but I don't know, I just had a little bit of trouble firing, getting all the guys back into the game and getting their heads screwed on.
The weather was pretty average. Like, it was pretty much rained the whole entire time for our game, and we just, as far as offense goes, we really just couldn't throw the ball too well, and they were just jacking us up, and they had some really fast D linemen which were just like collapsing the pocket, and so we didn't have time to have any bombs, and they also had quite a few boys in the box stopping the run from Nate, and they were starting running back Connor. So when you run your pass game aren't going too well, it's up to your punt unit, which isn't ideal. So
do you have sort of a backup short option? Like, is it, if you're panicking with the drop, were you looking for sort of more West Coast stuff, or is it just too many dudes on the outside there?
Yeah, well, we tried a few different things. We always had we had a few receiver screens there as well, to try and stretch, because I had so many guys in the box that kind of left us out on a little bit of an island outside. But still trying to zing the ball out to us was a problem with the quarterback slipping on the fingers. The ball just wasn't getting there very quick and not perfectly accurate, so it made that a little bit difficult. So we kind of went back to trying the run game and trying to stretch them out wide. But again, they just had some really good athletic players there. Yep. They just broke on the ball, and they ended up just reading run first. So they'd take away the run, and then they'd give us the short throw if it was there. But again, we had some troubles connecting. So it just wasn't all coming together. But hey, that's just the day it was. Just turned out that way.
Did you feel like it was more of a case of things went wrong than just, holy shit, we're playing France? Like, they're a very professional team. They're a very professional outfit. They've kind of been playing each other a long time, and they've sort of, know each other, play in Germany really easily and things like that. Is it a case of we're from Australia, from like a really long way away, and, how our sort of like our good on Australia isn't unified? There's sort of Victoria. There's like, we don't really. What do you think, Bryn?
I don't think it was a case of, holy, we're playing France. I think there's a lot of guys here that are pretty new to the circuit and just sort of at this level. So I don't think they have a full appreciation of how good France are. So they came in with the mindset that we're gonna shake it. We're gonna give it a real go. Mm-hmm. Maybe they weren't aware of the level that they were going to be at or facing coming off the back of South Korea. That was a confidence builder. We got to execute. We got to, the weather was a bit better, and we could actually function like we were supposed to. Yep. Weather conditions sort of hampered that a little bit, and then combine that with France's ability to execute and their cohesion, like you said, with their Europe sort of playing experience. I think it was just a combination of a few things. I don't think the guys were overawed. It was mentioned that we were the underdogs, and we'd have to go in and really fight for what we needed to do. I just think that they were on a different level mentally. They seemed to function and execute, where we were just that little bit behind the play, probably on just timings and functionality. I mean, we come together as often as we can, but in terms of getting a complete team, you're not playing a full season. You haven't got the regular visits. You get the camps. So it's a slow process. I think the guys that we've got here, there's a great bunch of people, and given the time and given the exposure that the other teams may have had, I think they'd come together really well.
Bryn, what do you think? You've been, how many campaigns have you been on so far?
Ooh, too many. My first one was in '09, so this would probably be my fourth or fifth, about that.
Jesus. And what do you think of the quality of just global gridiron, I suppose, in over those years? You've seen some teams not play in all the events and things like that. What about 2015 global gridiron?
I think it's good. I think as a whole and as a collective, it's really moving forward. It's really expanding, and teams are getting better. I think the coaching is being dispersed amongst the countries quite well, and the growth of the sport. I mean, leading up to this, we had a camp. We did a combined training session with the US, and those are the kind of things that I look to sort of grow the sport and grow the knowledge and experience. I know there was talk from the US head coach that there should be more of that in the upcoming events, where they can get all the countries together and then put them through all our paces and give every exposure and the education just to completely grow the sport and get everyone sort of improving. It's large blowouts and great countries versus average countries isn't good for the sport. So getting everyone on the same page, but from '09 to now, it's come along. I've never played South Korea before. I haven't played France before, and coming up tomorrow, I haven't played Brazil before. So these are all countries that are coming along the way and can only better the sport.
Now, Dan, have you been thinking about sort of the pathway you guys need to achieve? What's the plan? What would you guys talk about at training now? You're taking it one game at a time, but what sort of things are you thinking about the big picture?
Yeah, so pretty much like you said, we take it one game at a time. As soon as the last game's finished, we watch a little bit of film on the previous game, just to see where we made mistakes and where we can improve on. But we very quickly move on to the next team. The coach has put a lot of time and effort in when the players are sleeping to scout the opponent team, to see what sort of defensive looks they'll give us when we're in different offensive formations, and vice versa with offense and defense. So. And pretty much over these coming training sessions, we just implement some slight adjustments that we might make to our playbook just to suit that team a little bit better. And then, we just practice and execute as many plays as we can that we think are going to exploit the Brazilian defense or the upcoming team's defense. So the mindset's always positive. We always go in just 100% and give it what we got. Pretty much brings the boys together.
And are you sticking with the WA posse? Have you kind of made some friends, overseas? Have you got sort of long-lost buddies from way over?
Yeah. Obviously, this is my first ever Outback camp, so I've got a few, obviously, the WA boys. I had a state campaign with those guys, so I always see them around, and it's good to see a familiar face. But obviously, it's a little bit cliquey as far as, like, wide receivers. We do everything together just because, obviously, that's just the way it is. So I'm working with another wide receiver. So you make friends. It's also awesome seeing people from other countries because we all dine together. The times are a little bit staggered, but we just always seeing familiar faces, and they recognize you, you recognize them, and then it's just hellos and just all friendly stuff. So you definitely make friends. You're never alone here, and it's just great being around a sort of environment like that. It's just keeps you happy.
And what are some of the sort of things you do, to demonstrate being Australian? Do you do anything like, is there lots of yous or Aussie other like?
I didn't recognise it was a bit of an eye opener because one of our WA teammates, AJ, one day a girl was holding the door open for him, a sort of youngish sort of girl, and he said, "Thanks, mate." And she just started giggling and turned to her friend like, "Oh my God, he said thanks, mate." And that was a bit of an eye-opener. Like, people just aren't exposed to that.
Yeah.
I try and not say mate too often just to not stand out that much. But, there's a few things you just like, "Hey, mate," and people just kind of look at you like, "Yeah, he's Aussie," and just a few stereotypical things like that.
So, given the difference between your experience between the two of you, how do you spend your nights, Bryn? You go to bed at, say, 6:30 with cups of tea and... Stricker, you're out in the town. Tell us a little bit about the after hours activities.
Well, I think it might be the other way around. I think Stricker might be the one with the cup of tea. No, they've got curfews and whatnot, but as long as you're in the campus and sort of in your building as such, you can stay up and do what you do. There's lots of game reviews and there's lots of things. So there's still guys out in the hallway playing ping pong. There's still guys running around doing some things, but once you're in the house, it's pretty good. I'm usually done by about 10:30. I've watched some film and And I can listen to the younger guys running around doing their thing, but my backhand on the ping pong table is not what it used to be. So.
Is there a champion? Have we got an Australian ping pong champion?
I wasn't out there last night.
I think Bluey was ripping it up for a bit there. He seemed to dominating the court, so he had his thing going. I know I didn't.
Bluey's the Forrest Gump table tennis award of the Outback.
You can quote us on that. Bluey is Gump.
Yeah, exactly. Great. Cool. And what do we know about Brazil? Let's give the folks back home a bit of a preview of this game.
Yeah, so what can I say? They're not. They're a little bit higher up than Korea. So obviously Brazil and Korea versed each other, and I think it was 24-0 that Brazil beat Korea. So it should be a step up from Korea as far as how the team kind of bonds. Obviously not as good as France, we're expecting anyway. They seem a little bit disorganized as far as when we show different formations, something that's not your usual double-double formation. So we're going to try and exploit that, just show them a lot of different formations, make it real quick, like lining up to the line, and just see if we can try and exploit their defense like that. So yeah, their coverages are pretty standard as well. It's pretty standard, like cover 2s, cover 8s and stuff like that.
I think I heard that from one of the coaches that as a country they'd only been wearing pads for 7 years in terms of gameplay. So their ideas and their formations and everything, they're a little bit different to what we're used to seeing, as Stricko was saying. So there's different looks. There's on all our video reviews and our scouting and reports and whatnot. It's just a little bit odd. So it'll be an interesting game because matchups always, teams have different matchups to different teams, and so it'll definitely be a good game to watch. And I don't think the scoreline's going to be too far from being a close game. So hopefully we can execute, and they can't.
And before we go, is there any awards or anything you'd like to hand out to any teammates there? I suppose they're going to be watching this in post.
That's a tough one. I probably could have thought of some if I had some time.
I would have liked a heads up on this one.
Probably, there's the Bryn Island Award. It always has to go to Bryn. Pretty much denies anyone that tries to get onto Bryn Island, so he definitely takes the denied award.
Border Patrol's pretty hefty on that island, so it's tough to get.
Yeah, customs is heavy. Who else has done some stuff? Shout out to Damien Malloy. He's number 6, one of our safeties on the team. He was really, really good entertainment last night at dinner. Yesterday at lunch, just asking some really personal questions to all the coaches and the players, and he had our whole table just in fits of laughter for about 20 minutes. So
doesn't have a filter, no social filter.
There is no. That's the perfect way to put it. Damien has no social filter, but it makes for an awesome time. So shout out to Damien for not having the filter, definitely.
We've got a bit of a competition, and it's actually between you two because Rory Bannon made a call. We had sort of a planning podcast where we just chatted about what we should do for the season. And he said, nicest guy in Gridiron West is Bryn Nightingale.
Yes.
Yes. And I said, do you know what? I really liked talking to Stricko the other day. I thought that was good fun. So
make a good point. Stricko's a nice guy too. I can't fault it.
That's great typical nice guy behaviour from you there, Bryn.
Yeah, I would actually say the exact same. If Bryn wasn't here and you didn't say anything, I would vote Bryn 100% nicest guy. He's just always smiling and saying good things. So
that's Stricko's
just the guy to be around.
We think we're going to have to think of some activities when you guys get back, and we'll have a nice off because there can be only one. Let's face it. And we're going to figure out which was going to be. All right. Well, get thinking of activities, and we should have some fun sorted for you when you guys get back.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Best of luck to the game, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Cheers, Simon.
Catch ya.
See you later. Bye.